Okay, so there are things that you think you know when you get a Tesla, and then there are things you only learn after putting a dent in your trunk in your garage. And I'm here to help you skip that part. Here's my list of 10 things you'll wish you knew sooner as a Tesla owner. The first one I have to mention is that you can set the height of how high you want your trunk to open. So like I said, what had happened was that someone in our household, it wasn't me, pulled halfway out of our garage, realized she forgot something, and opened the trunk, and the trunk hit the top of our garage. Our Model Y is wrapped too, so this one stuck out a little bit. So if you don't want to be like us, you can set your trunk height. All you do is open your trunk and manually grab it to how high you want it to open. You then hold this button until you hear this sound. And then from now on, whenever you open your trunk, it'll only open to this height. Number 2, you can and should declutter your menu. Tesla gives you a bunch of apps and a bunch of music apps by default, Spotify, Tidal, TuneIn, whatever. Which honestly is great, but no sane person uses every single one of these streaming apps. So if you only use like 1 or 2 of these, you can just ditch the rest. Open the sources menu by tapping the volume and settings. Then you can uncheck all of these apps that you would never use. And now when you open all of your apps, your menu screen will look a lot cleaner and less like a Roku from 2012. Number 3, a very underrated piece of advice, add a guest driver profile. So you'll have your own driver profile where you can change your seats, your mirrors, and all of your settings to your liking, and it'll save all in your profile. But friends and family will definitely want to test drive your Tesla, and you'll probably want to show it off too. So instead of having them mess up your seat, your mirrors, and all the other settings on your driver profile, you can just make a driver profile and name it to guest. This way, if anyone else wants to drive your car, you just put on the guest driver profile and they can play with whatever they want. Next on my list, I want to mention the scroll wheel shortcut. This little scroll wheel, it can be your new best friend. Of course, it controls media and volume, but if you hold the left one down, surprise, you can add a shortcut. And this is really helpful because there are some things that you might use often and would often have to go through the Tesla settings or the Tesla menu to get to. For example, I have mine set to open the glove box, so instead of opening the menu and finding open glove box, I just hold the scroll wheel in and it does it. Now this next one might be my favorite tip, especially this time of year. Use the Tesla app to precondition your car. Right now, it's about 110 degrees in Las Vegas. I step outside and question some of my life choices. But my Tesla, I never question that because of the ability to cool my cabin from my phone. I just open the Tesla app, I turn on climate controls before I get in, and you can do this from anywhere. You don't need to be in like Bluetooth range or something like that. There are not much better feelings in this world than getting into a cold car on a 110 degree day. Now next on my list, take advantage of the Supercharger Speeds, especially on your road trips. You may have heard that Teslas take forever to charge, and that's what people say who have never used a supercharger. First of all, you pull up and plug in. That's literally it. That's the tutorial. There's no like credit card inserts or extra apps to use. That's how you use them. It could not be any simpler. But the charging curve tapers off as you get closer to a full charge. So the biggest tip here is if you want the fastest charging speeds, get to a supercharger with as low of a battery as you feel comfortable with to take advantage of the fastest charging speeds. On a road trip, you go grab a snack, use the restroom, and by the time you get back, your car is ready to go. Depending on your model, you can get about 200 miles of range in about 15 minutes. So I like to say it's not gas station fast, but it's real life fast. Number 7 on my list is to use the Tesla app to check your charge stats and your savings. Do you want to feel a little better after spending about 50 grand on a car? Open your Tesla app, find the charging stats tab, and you have all of your charging data right here. The savings and the spendings are fairly accurate. It actually uses your local gas station prices for comparison, and you can even put in your specific electricity rates. And I can promise you, you'll be happy to see just how much money you're saving by charging. Unless you live in California, and in that case, I apologize. Now, number 8, I want to talk about home charging for a little bit. Charging at home is honestly the best part of owning a Tesla. No more gas stations, just plug in and forget about it, just like your phone when you charge at night. But the big tip here, what you may not know, is no, you don't need some big fancy charging setup at home to charge your Tesla. I have used a regular standard outlet to charge my car, and yes, it's slower, but it works just fine and you'll get more than enough charge for your daily driving if you're not driving like 200 miles a day. It's easy, it's boring, it's like brushing your teeth. You should do it every night, but if you forget sometimes, no big deal. If you forget a lot, you just have to go to a supercharger one day and you'll be fine, which is a lot better than going to the dentist. Number 9, there's a setting called Joe Mode, and you should absolutely turn this on. Teslas love to beep and ding, and they do this very loudly. The alerts are a safety feature, and I appreciate it, I get it, but they can be loud, especially when pulling into a tight parking spot. Joe Mode basically just makes all these alerts much quieter. It's not like they're silent, it's just less air horn in your ear and more normal alerts in a normal tone. And last on my list, another setting here, turn on Sentry Mode, but you can turn it off at home or at work if you're safe parking in those areas. Sentry Mode is like having a dash cam recording while you're parked, but instead of one dash cam, it's like 8 different dash cams from 8 different angles. Incredibly helpful. If someone walks near it, it records everything. Super useful if someone door dings you. Or if someone backs into your Tesla 14 hours after you picked it up and then drives away without leaving any sort of note. But do note, it does use some battery while it's on. Luckily, you can set it to turn off when you're parked at home, work, or any locations you set as a favorite. So if you're just parked in your garage at night or something, there's no need to have this on. And I do have one bonus tip that kind of doubles as a hidden feature. You can actually add a 5th shortcut to your Tesla app quick control menu. So if you go to the Tesla app controls, you'll see you can only have 4 quick access icons in the app. But, plot twist, you can actually add a 5th icon here. Just tap and hold any icon below, and instead of dragging it to replace another icon, drag it all the way to the right. A little gray box should appear, drop it there, and boom, 5th shortcut unlocked. It's actually a bit tricky to do this. You may have to take off your phone case, and for me, it only works if I use my left thumb, and I don't know why. So that right there is my list of 10 pretty useful Tesla tips, so I hope these helped you save some stress, some time, or helped in some way. I post a lot of Tesla advice, reviews, road trips, everything Tesla, so if that's something that you're into, you should subscribe. But as always, thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.